everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Part 3, Thanksgiving wines. Going to put it out right away. I know a lot of you are shopping for your wines for Turkey Day. A lot of you will shop today. One of the busiest days in the store is today, for me, in the fall. And then of course tomorrow it's pretty busy too. I'm letting my assistant handle that particular moment. But we sell a ton of wine. I know a lot of people put it off to the last minute, so I'm going to get through this so you can have some ideas on what you want with turkey aside from the traditional Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Noir, Zinfandel. So we're going to try some new stuff. I'm not sure if all these will work. I'm going to try them. I'll give you my opinion on that. Let's get started. This is the 2014 Terra and Teche Montepulciano di Abruzzo. It's an Italian red wine from Montepulciano di Abruzzo, not to be confused with Vino Nobile di Montepulciano from the town of Montepulciano, which is 100% Sangiovese. So this is Montepulciano di Abruzzo, $7, crazy price. And I know we've talked many times about, we've shown some hefty wines. We did the Funk Syrah from Savida Cellars yesterday, 57 bucks. So you might want to spend some money on a special occasion sort of thing. And you might have a lot of people who want to save some money. At $7, I think that's a pretty good value. And I just want to mention too that people on the island, my buddies are kind of spoiled because we have a grocery store, the one I work at, King's Market. We sell a lot of very interesting wines, and you don't normally walk in a grocery store that has that variety. Maybe a Metropolitan Market in Seattle, but even there, I don't think they have the variety we have at King's Market in Friday Harbor. And people that have gone there have always been blown away by the department. I'm very thankful. I have an owner that is also a good friend, and he lets me do what I do. And you know, he's very proud of the department, and as long as I make money for the store, you know, he lets me do what I want. I really appreciate that. All right, let's see what we get on the nose. So right off the bat, I get like almost like a cherry stem and raspberries. A little bit of chocolate coming through, which I find very curious. A lot of people will like that. Getting a little bit of like a cinnamon element coming through, which is very interesting. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice ripe cherries. I really like it a lot. A little bit of cranberry action, but this is good. It's got a nice smooth juiciness to it that I like a lot. And yeah, it's got maybe a little high in acid on the backside, which was kind of what I was thinking maybe with a Italian wine. But it's still, I think it might fit. It's, like I said, a little higher in acid than I'd like to see. Aside from that, and we're talking about matching it with turkey, I think this is a great bottle of wine for $7. I mean, it has a lot of things going on. Has a little minerality. I get a little bit of wet rock on the back side of this one. Like I said, good acid, nice cherries, with a little bit of like underripe raspberries coming through, a little bit of cranberry action. I'm going to say pass on this for Thanksgiving. I think it's a good roast beef wine, it's a good steak wine, it's a good hamburger wine, it's good pizza wine. But I'm thinking maybe the minerality, maybe the acid might be too much for what you're doing. I don't think it would be terrible, but I don't think it would be the perfect match. But I'm still going to go B+ on that. B+ for $7. That is an awesome wine. Really is. Really is. And I'm saying that because the minerality, it's got fruit, it's a little bit of complexity to it, it's got the good acid. There's a lot of good things going on. I'm going to stay right at a B. I'm going to go right at a B. I think that's a way above average wine. $7. I think you should seek it out. Terra and Teche, Montepulciano di Abruzzo. I'm going to bring some into the store. This is the first time I've tried this. I'm very impressed with it. Let's move on, but not a turkey wine. Okay. Another play I think that might work with turkey is the Malbec. I know a lot of you love Malbec. Still a strong category in the store. A lot of people like it. They dig it. And one of the wines that really does well is Alamos Malbec from Mendoza, Argentina. This is 2012. It is $12. Actually, Malbec prices have crept up a little bit. It's okay. It's always hard to start low and go high. But it seems like they're doing it nice and slowly. People are accepting it. It's harder to find $9 Malbec. Harder to find $9 Malbec anymore. Good for them if they can get away with it. But I have seen a little decline in Malbec sales. Okay, so Alamos Malbec. I think this might be a good play for Thanksgiving. Malbec tends to be less tannic. Although when you get up to the more expensive ones, you tend to get a little bit of richer, deeper style Malbec. So let's see what we get on the nose. A little stink action. A little poopy on the nose. A little bit of leather. I get a little bit of currants coming through. I'm getting some tobacco and violets. Very nice. Don't mind the poopy. I mean, I know that's a word that you probably don't like, but I use that often. Because that's really what you get. It's not like stinky poopy. I don't know how other to describe it, except it does have that little kind of barnyardy thing. A little bit of horse manure. Yeah, a little bit of horse manure, cow manure. Dried, though. But that leather comes through, the currants come through. You know, I'm just going to go with that. I mean, I know that you've smelled it. Maybe you haven't put it in the poopy category because you just don't want to. But it isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, really. Okay, let's see what we get on the palate. Nice plums, boysenberries, blackberries, little currants coming through, tobacco for sure underneath, but the fruit is big enough, juicy enough. I think this would be a great turkey wine. Get a little bit of spice on the backside, very smooth, very polished. I see why people get excited about Alamos. I don't carry it at the store. I don't know why. I just have a big Malbec section. You got to have a parking spot before you can bring one in. But I'm bringing this in because I think it really it over delivers for $12. It really does. Yeah, so if you haven't thought about using Malbec for turkey, I think that's a good play. Alamos, a little bit better than average, but there's a lot of good ones out there. Punta Final, Renacer Punta Final. I often think of the Alberti 154. I can think of Llama Malbec. All great Malbecs, all in that same price range, all really good. I think they'd be all good plays for Thanksgiving. I'm going to go B+ on the Alamos. I'm feeling generous today. Maybe it's because it's the day before Thanksgiving, but definitely a turkey wine. Don't go there, but that's a good bottle of wine. I'm bringing that into the store. B+. Good job. All right, now we're going to move on to another Argentinian wine from Mendoza, Colonia Los Libres, Bonarda Classica, 2013, and this rolls in at $8. I'm a big Bonarda fan. I think it reminds me a lot of a Syrah. If you haven't tried Bonarda yet, I encourage you to do so. It's a grape that they, you usually see it out of Argentina. Somebody's obviously trying to get a hold of me on my phone. I normally turn it off. Anyway. Excuse my phone. All right, let's see what we get on the nose. Interesting nose. I'm getting a little bit of that smokiness that reminds me a lot of Syrah. I'm getting like a barkish kind of currant thing coming through. A little bit of tobacco. There's definitely a tobacco element in the backside. I'm getting some red flowers through, like violets and roses. A little bit of a meaty character, a little beefiness to it. Let's see what we get on the palate. kind of spicy. I like that white pepper on the backside. A lot of currant fruit coming through. A little bit of tobacco. I get a little bit of black olive element coming through. Black olives, yeah, Thanksgiving. Huge black olive fan. And green olives. Definitely like a smoked meat element coming through. A little bit of tobacco. Nice flow across the palate. I'm liking this wine. It's not tannic. It's got good structure though. Nice flavors. I think this would really work good with the savory elements of turkey. It has a savory element to it itself, but at the same time good fruit. I think this might be a perfect match. I've tasted a lot of great Bonarda out of Argentina. So if you go into your local wine shop, a lot of these wines will not be found in a grocery store. This one might be though. The Colonia Los Libres. If you have a wine steward in your store that is worth his weight in, or her weight in gold, they would have this. Great bottle of wine. I've stacked it many times at the store. I think that would be a great play for Thanksgiving. I am going to go BB plus on that. I think it's a great bottle of wine for $8. It's stupid. All right, let's move on. Now we're going to go to an interesting varietal, Carignan. And the reason I say it's interesting is because Jancis Robinson, a very famous British wine critic and wine writer, hates Carignan. I love Carignan. She even made a comment in her book that nobody should plant it anymore, or something ridiculous like that. Lioco Indica, Mendocino County, red wine, 2012. This rolls in at $23, so we got a Michael Jordan going on here. $23. This is 100% Carignan. You notice they don't call it Carignan on the front of the label. It's on the back. It's kind of curious. Maybe they're afraid people won't buy it if it says Carignan on the front. I think that's a good play. They just call it red wine. Curious how this is going. Like I said, I've had this bottle around for a while. I've been dying to try it. I thought, well, this would be a good time. Because Carignans I've had in the past have been really nice wines. Old World. This is the first New World 100% Carignan I think I've tried. Let's see what we get on those. Interesting, it has almost like a butterscotch candy, cotton candy thing on the nose. Yeah, I get huge amounts of butterscotch, like, you know, those hard candies. Get a little bit of underlying red flowers, a little bit of red cherries coming through. A little bit of licorice. Let's see what we get on the palate. Excuse me 1 minute. Sorry guys, I just realized I was in such a hurry to get this shot that I did not plug in my microphone. Sorry for the shaking camera. Every time I think I got everything down pat, I forget something. There you go. So this is a little bit, has some interesting cranberry elements right on the backside. Definitely red cherries. Definitely red flowers. Very bright on the palate. I like it. Good acid. A little thin on the back end. Definitely thin on the back end. Yeah, a little weak. Definitely not a turkey wine. Don't go Carignan, at least not this New World Carignan on turkey. In fact, I'd pass on it for 23 bucks. I'm gonna go CC plus. I think it's an average wine. Has good acid. There's some good flavors to it. There's some interesting things, but it's very weak, very thin, and that's not a testament to Carignan. I like Carignan. I've had some great ones. This is not one of them. It's not a bad wine. I think it's an average wine, especially for the money. Just a hair above average, but not a turkey wine. Let's move on. Now we're going to go into white wines, and the reason you say, why is he doing whites after the reds? I'll tell you right now, these are sweeter wines, and you know, if you're one of those people that say, well, I don't like sweet wines, you should really try a sweeter wine with turkey. It's a great match, it really is. And I think that once you experience it, you may realize, maybe you don't like sweet wines on a daily basis, maybe you don't like, you pour yourself a glass of sweet wine when you're sitting down watching a movie or out on the back deck, that's fine. But you should at least try a sweeter style wine with turkey, with the stuffing, with all the spicy, savory things. It really works well. So we're going to go do this one. I think I've reviewed this before, but I thought it was appropriate. This is one of those wines, very interesting. It is 50% Chardonnay, 50% Viognier. I usually do not recommend Chardonnay for Thanksgiving. I think just the oakiness, even unoaked Chards tend to be a little light for the meal. There are probably some Chards that work. Don't get me wrong. You can try. You can drink whatever you want, whatever you frickin' want, you can do. Really. Benson Vineyards, Curious White Estate Winery, 2013, Lake Chelan, 11.7% alcohol, which I really think is cool. $14. There you go. I love this winery. I really do. They really make some nice wines. I met the winemaker, great guy. Anyway, let's see what we get on those. So I get like apples right off the bat. Apples with a little peach juice. There's an almond element coming through. I get a little mango action, which I like. I'm getting a little, just a dash of coconut. Yeah, let's see what we get on the palate. This is almost sugar-fied. I mean, I get a little bit of that kind of granulated sugar thing on the back side of my palate, but then it kind of dries up a little bit. This is definitely, with that Viognier, that 50% Viognier, it really gives it that, ramps up that fruit, ripe fruit element. Yeah, I'm getting really ripe apricots, ripe mango, almost ripe apples, but it's almost like they sprinkled just a little bit of sugar on it, which is an interesting characteristic. Not necessarily like it that much. That sugar-fied element kind of bothers my palate just a little bit. I know a lot of you are going to like it, and with the savory food, trust me, this will work magic together. It finishes dry. You know what? If you categorize, I would put this almost in dessert wine category. It's that close. It doesn't have glycerin though. It finishes nice and dry. It actually reminds me a little bit of a less expensive Sauternes, just a little. You get that kind of golden raisin thing on the backside with the mangoes, with the peaches. I think it throws me off a little bit when I first tried it. It does have a little bit of that sugar-fied element to it, but I think that would go really good with the meal. If you are in a bottle shop that carries Benson wines and they have the Curious and you're shopping wine tonight, tomorrow, you might seek it out. I think it would work really good. If you're looking for a sweeter style wine, this is nice actually. Yeah, I think that sugar-fied is going away as the red wine washes off my palate. I probably should have took that into consideration. Usually, as I taste wines, we train our palates to adjust, but in this particular case, I think the red wine in my mouth made it a little more sugar-fied than it is, but I am getting sticky lips. I'm going to go BB minus. I think I'm just going to go, yeah, BB minus. I think it's a good wine. It's way above it. It's above average. $14. It's a good play. It'd be great turkey wine. I mean, I wish I would have mentioned this a little bit earlier, maybe did this on my first episode, but that's the way the ball rolls. If you're in Chelan, you'll be able to go to the winery and pick it up. All right. Traditional, this is way traditional. This is Riesling. And I just want to show off my buddy Trey Bush's Sleight of Hand Cellars, the Magician Riesling 2014 Evergreen Vineyard. Great source of fruit for Riesling. The Milbrandts own Evergreen Vineyards. Great label. Trey Bush is a fun guy. Great label. He's a good marketer. He's a good winemaker. He does a lot of things right. This is $20. If you're going to go Riesling, I think this possibly could be, if you want to go a little special on your Riesling, get away from that Saint Michelle, go Sleight of Hands. Let's see what we get on the nose. So I get a little bit of that rubber boot, which is very common for really good Riesling, for you Riesling geeks out there. I'm getting a little peaches and apricots coming through. There's an interesting element I can't quite put my finger on. Interesting. Anyway, let's see what we get on the palate. I can't quite, there's something there. I wish I had somebody with me right now to help me to really nail that aroma. It's right on the tip of my tongue. A little bit of apple coming through. Anyway, let's see what we get on the palate. I'm not going to be able to nail it, I'm sorry. This is a beautiful Riesling. Might be a little too dry for some palates. I like it. This is classic Alsatian style Riesling. It's just gorgeous. It's got that little rubber boot thing going on. It has enough sweetness. I think it would work if you're not really into super sweet wines. This might really nail it for you. It's got peaches and apricots, but they're dry. There's a nice citrus element coming through. Good acid, but not like laser sharp acidity. Get that apple, kind of peach, kind of. There's that flavor again. I just can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's lychee nut that I'm getting. Just a little bit of lychee nut. That could be it. Yeah, definitely would work. For those who don't like super sweet wines and you want a little sweetness, this has perfect balance of sweetness, acid. Got a little bit of that rubber boot thing going on, but you won't notice that when you're having food. Oh, this would be perfect with stuffing, with all the little things that go with turkey. Like I said, if you're into sweeter wines, you do not want to go in this direction. If you're a Riesling geek, I think you're going to love it. I am going to go B+, A-. I think this is a really good bottle of wine. Really well done Riesling. So there you go, the lineup. Another, well, this was, what, 6 wines that you could use. Well, actually, out of the 6, 5 of them would work for, 4 of them would work for turkey. Sorry, I forgot about the Carignan. 4 for turkey, 2, you get good wines, but pass, except for the Lico. Not so excited about that. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.